All right, Walking Dead episode 12, season 9 is come and gone. I'm Justin.
Oh, and I'm JP.
And we are here to talk about it. If you're not familiar with our channel, we do a lot of Walking Dead discussions, but we also have several other podcasts, including a new one that starts tomorrow. We're talking about the current event stuff. Yeah, so we'll just kind of once a week talk about whatever's really current that day, and we hope you'll join us. So if you like The Walking Dead, or if you're just into podcasts, please consider hitting that subscribe button and hitting the little bell notification beside it if you're listening on YouTube. If you're listening on SoundCloud, then I think you can just follow. I don't know if it notifies you or not. We're kind of new to the SoundCloud scene. But anyways, let's talk about this episode. JP, start us out, man. Give us some thoughts.
Well, I mean, it was a good one. It was, it was kind of a build-up filler episode, but that being said, I think it was a good build-up filler episode, you know what I mean? I think it still hit some good notes, we got some nice Michonne I've been kind of missing,
Yeah. I feel like I wanted more out of Beta's intro, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For his big debut episode, man.
Because Beta's a badass, big, scary dude. Which Ryan Hurst, by the way, Opie from Sons of Anarchy, is playing Beta and doing a great job. Like, I know he didn't have many lines last night, but I loved when the first time we saw him was when he grabbed Henry, right? Wasn't that?
Yeah, grabbed Henry's stick.
Yeah, and jerked Henry up out the ditch. Come on here. Go introduce you to Alpha.
Just, man, Henry, you got to understand, when you don't have the high ground, you're just SOL.
He's such a douche, man. I do not like... Am I the only one that was really hoping that we were going to be blown away when Lydia picked up the knife and just chunked it into his throat?
Man, if Daryl had rolled up and Lydia had been wearing Henry's face...
Oh, that'd have been awesome.
That would have been great, yeah.
If you're new to these podcasts, we don't like Henry at all. We think he's terrible. If you do like Henry, I apologize, and I respect your opinion. But you're wrong. Man, I'm just playing. If you like Henry, you like Henry. But you might not enjoy this podcast. We think Henry sucks.
That would be the perfect curveball, man. Just if Lydia became the new Alpha,
we'd never see it coming.
If she was so badass that gutted Henry, killed her mama.
Yeah, taking a very far divergence there from the comic, but that would be cool as hell, because us comic readers would be like, whoa, wow, that is not like I actually like it sometimes when they do that. I mean, I get there are some staple things, like the Whisperers had to show up, Negan had to there are some things from the comics that just have to happen, but I'm not a stickler for them doing it. Honestly, when they deviate from the comics, I like it, because it's something you don't expect as a reader.
Man. I mean, at this point, we're so off the grid as it is. I mean, Rick's gone, Carl's dead. I mean, why not? Just really
just switch it up on us, man. Yeah, I definitely could see the filler type thing, this being a filler episode, but it was still good. It's just kind of like a bridge. Yeah. It's got to get us from one place to another, and you got to have those episodes every now and again.
Sometimes, absolutely.
But I do like, again, how they're switching through multiple stories. I truly doubt that anyone from The Walking Dead will ever hear this podcast, but if you are, keep that up. That is how you will keep the show afloat, by not spending entire episodes on boring plot lines. Let us switch. So, Michonne, again, I love Michonne and Judith's argument. I love that Michonne, basically, it's like Homeboy on The Talking Dead said, it really was one of those moments, as a parent, where your kid, you're like, go to your room after you're arguing, and the kid don't realize it, but that's basically your way of going, you win, screw you. Yeah, you just lost, because Michonne realizes, she's been kind of, I get that she's doing it to keep people safe, but she's been a little bit tyrannical as far as just vetoing things, and we don't know the story yet of what happened between Rick's departure and now that's made her so cold to the outside world. But obviously it was something bad, which they say we'll find out, in episode 14? Is what we were reading?
Well, you told me that.
Yeah, episode 14. But
yeah, I like that discourse a lot, man. Like when, what did Michonne say? She said something about things would go back to the way they used to be, and what Judith said something like, well, you're not how you used to be. Yeah. I really wanted there to be a pause, and then for her to just be like, you used to be cool. And then, then just, do a quick turn and just walks away. But we didn't get that, but still some good dialogue.
You're a loser, Mom.
Yeah, you used to be cool, Mom.
You used to like all the same music I did, no?
But nah, man, it seems like Judith might know a little bit about Michonne's, past, some of the dirty deeds she's had to do.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where as a parent, they say your kids are, always watching you. She doesn't realize she doesn't realize Judith knows as much as Judith knows. Mm-hmm. Judith has been talking with Negan. Judith is a very intelligent kid for her age, very deep thinker, which then again, she grew up in this world. You kind of have to be. We grew up in a world of luxury with schools and lattes and safety, where she was born into a world of disarray and, and everybody's out to get everybody and zombies are eating people. So, she kind of, I guess, has to be sharper at that young age than we had to be, because we had the world to look after us, where she's only got pretty much herself. But
if Michonne's anything like my mom, she spilled all her secrets herself just by having one too many glasses of wine, getting on the phone with her friend, and what I did 2 years ago on a Cancun, yada yada yada.
Right.
So,
did you hear some stories that are
on themselves? Oh yeah,
you've heard some stories that you you wish you wouldn't have heard about, Mama?
Yeah, man. In recent years, she's told me, I never thought I'd tell you this.
Well, then don't.
Yeah, but no, I'd be like, Ma, I heard you. You had too many glasses of wine one night. I heard you tell that story over the phone when I was 12 years old.
Oh man.
But anyway, I digress.
Man, no, that's something. Yeah, no, I even as with my parents, man, I still don't like to tell them a ton of stuff. Mm-hmm. My dad and I had this awkward conversation this year when they were decorating the front porch of their house. I was over there to help them a little bit, and he knew that I was sneaking out of my room in high school. I would sneak out of my room, walk down the hill, jump in a friend's vehicle, and we'd be gone the whole night. And I thought I was getting I did it a lot.
You were jumping right out the window?
I won't jump in. I was sliding out onto the porch. Floor, yeah, and then I would slide down the railing. I'm just playing. I would walk down the steps.
Bart Simpson over here.
Right? But I would come out the window, go down the steps, meet my friends at the bottom of the driveway, and we'd ride off all night, and then I would get back at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and sneak back into my bed and thought I was getting away with it. But my dad let me know that I wasn't. It's just some things, he's like, But
even if
it's one of those things I don't want him,
I don't think I could have even figured out how to get the screen off the window to escape.
If you're off to meet a girl, you'll figure out
I guess that's
a lot
true.
of things.
I guess that's true.
We become very ingenuitive, very, very intelligent when we need to be, if we're trying to get out to a girl.
Yeah.
But I thought I was getting, but it's when he talks about, I don't want to know things like that. I don't know. I guess maybe it's just because my parents were a little stricter on me and my first sister. The second two, not so much. But I guess it's one of those things where, for me, parents were always authority figures and always, so I get kind of weirded out when it's like a parent is my friend type thing. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's not what I'm used to.
Well, man, I had a mom who was very do as I say, not as I do. So it's kind of like
I'm going to go get fucked up.
Yeah,
Excuse my language.
Do her
I'm sorry.
Thing, but at the same time, it's if I, even if I put a toe over the line, that toe was going right up my ass. My own toe up my own ass.
Don't drink and do drugs. Now sit down while Mama goes and gets her drink on.
Right. Oh,
I apologize for the little F slip there. We try not to curse too bad on these. I'm not going to say we don't ever curse, but we try to keep it to the. But on the random rambling Wednesdays, that's where all the language flies. As far as we just don't give. You know what? But so we got Daryl show, and I love that you didn't see it, and this isn't I wouldn't tell you if it was a big spoiler, but they showed a little bit of next week's episode. And you hear Daryl asking Lydia, he's like, so this Beta, he's the biggest and baddest, and she's like, yep, and he's like, all right, good, kill him first. And I'm like, we're gonna get, and they show a brief sample of Beta and Daryl throwing down, and it's like, for anybody that's been playing the new Resident Evil 2, it almost was like Mr. X style, the way Beta comes at Daryl, and you'll kind of, I hope you'll get what I'm saying when you see it. But.
Yeah, man, I more or less missed that action sequence at the end where they flood the camp with the walkers. I didn't miss it, but I'm watching it on the computer screen, and it's so dark.
Right.
When it's at nighttime, man, I can't tell what the hell's going on. So I'm just like, why are walkers flooding into the Whisperer camp?
Those are your people.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of the whole point of being a Whisperer. That doesn't happen, but yeah. So apparently Daryl corrals some zombies or something.
Right. Yeah. Oh, Daryl.
Yeah, he's ingenuitive.
I'm digging him this season, man. If this was the Daryl that we had, again, we sound like broken records, but sometimes I say that for those that maybe are just joining us after a while and never heard. I like Daryl this season. Mm-hmm. I'm liking. We've got personality, we've got development, and I'm enjoying it. And a lot of people are thinking there's going to be some romanticism between him and Connie.
Ooh.
Don't forget, though, Daryl, she doesn't have her sense of hearing. She's still got a sense of smell. So.
Oh, yeah, and it's probably heightened.
So wash those boys before.
I was going to say, get up under the scrotum.
That's important.
Yes.
Make sure you clean yourself. Poor Connie, she seems like a very sweet, sweet lady. And if Daryl and her are going to get romantic, then do her a favor and just wash up,
I'm telling you, man, it's interesting, it's almost every relationship on The Walking Dead is interracial, which is cool. I've been in an interracial relationship. So you don't think the writers of The Walking Dead are pushing like a PC agenda?
I don't think so, because they don't feel forced, you know what I mean?
Right.
Do you?
Sometimes it just makes you wonder, that's all.
Just makes you wonder,
if they're kind of going out of their way to, keep every new couple, Like I said, that's cool. Like I said, I've, dated black and Asian. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it.
Like I said, it just makes you wonder. Kind of like, anyway, I'm not gonna get off on a tangent.
All right, Alex Jones.
Yeah, I mean,
do your Alex and Jones. You do a good Alex Jones impression.
Do I do a good?
Yeah,
dude, it took me like 4 days, but Justin, I finally finished the Alex Jones return to the Joe Rogan podcast. It was 4 hours and 40 minutes of mind-blowing. Because, Joe Rogan caught a lot of flack for being a shill, for not grilling Jack Dorsey of Twitter. And, it was so great to be back on his transmit. I should have done this as Alex Jones talking to you about being on the Joe Rogan podcast. But
was it good?
Oh, dude, it was so great. Yeah,
I don't like Alex Jones at all. JP, you do or you don't like Alex Jones?
And this isn't directed at you, man, but like I hate when people shit on Alex Jones because 9 times out of 10, they have never actually watched a show or watched a documentary. Right. All they've done is, seen a clip on YouTube or seen either that or they just solely identify him with the
gay folks.
No, with Trump. Like
I've watched some of it. I've watched him back in the day, man. But I don't know. I always just saw him as kind of a crazy conspiracy guy. But
I mean, he's definitely crazy. But a lot of his information, man, you can back it up with like credible sources. And like I said, I'm not trying to get too off the ball here, but no, it's either people. He's so synonymous with Trump now. If you hate Trump, you're automatically going to hate Alex Jones. Or you've seen, him shirtless on YouTube, just clips they've chopped up, acting crazy. So I think if he was just more streamlined, like Joe Rogan.
Maybe he had a producer to keep his ass straight.
Well, Joe Rogan is like the Alex Jones whisperer. Like he's there to like keep him, on point. And when you've got someone there doing that, it's a lot easier to digest.
Right.
But anyway. This is turning into a rambling Wednesday.
It is. Back to the wall. How do you think Alex Jones would fare in The Walking Dead?
Oh, man, I think he would definitely be leading a community.
You think so?
He's charismatic. He's good at playing the tough guy. And
I'll protect you from the zombies and the gay frogs.
I could definitely see him being have a rancher community in like Texas, like in Fear the Walking Dead or something.
Yeah, there you go. I could see that. I could see that. More Fear the Walking Dead style, but welcome to my ranch.
They're globalists. They're responsible for this. They're poisoning our air, our water. Now take this more omega level brain force.
The whole zombie thing is a hoax. I'm going to prove it. There's literally a zombie right there eating somebody.
Brain force only available on Infowars.com. Alex, the internet doesn't exist anymore.
That's what they want you to think, JP. But I don't know, man. Back to this episode. Sorry, sometimes we do get a little off subject there, but it's Monday on top of that.
It was good, but it's not like there's as much to talk about.
I mean, this wasn't like crazy.
Henry gets captured,
which we knew was going to happen. He's taking the Carl storyline, but I just would have rather seen Carl do it. I don't know, man. I just can't. I can't get behind Henry. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're setting him up to be like you might have said, like Carl 2.0. Like, we're supposed to eventually like be rooting for this guy, and I'm just not.
Yeah, man. He's Carl Jr., and I know that's a burger franchise, but
he's stupid. He makes all of these stupidest decisions. I mean, like, thank God for Daryl, man. I mean, this kid has not done anything he was supposed to. He's supposed to take his little scrawny ass to Hilltop. He was supposed to learn to be a blacksmith so that he could go back to the kingdom, which we know the kingdom is not doing as well as King Ezekiel would like people to think it is. So the whole point was that dipshit was supposed to go learn to blacksmith, then go back to the kingdom so that he could help to rebuild the community and make it better. But instead, all he's done is done like 1 day of blacksmithing and like 5 days of fucking things up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really care much for the little guy.
Man, what'd you think about Eugene and Father Gabriel's conversation?
We got like a love box, right?
Yeah,
like normally you have like
weird,
love triangles, but they've got like a straight up love box. It's Eugene, Rosita, Sadiq, and Gabriel. So it's like poor Eugene, though, is just sitting over here by himself. It's like Sadiq, Rosita, had a little fun, accidentally got knocked up. Father Gabriel, Rosita, like each other a lot. And there's Eugene, basically just like he was with Abraham, just watching from the corner. I love you all.
Yeah, Eugene's like the ultimate cuck, you know. He really is.
That's man, that is, this is like the 4th podcast. You fit that in.
Oh, did I?
Have you and your girlfriend got into some new stuff that you're trying to hint to me about? I mean, I told you, man, I don't judge when it comes to as long as it's not child related. When it comes to sexual things, I don't judge. Whatever gets you going, man.
Believe it or not, you know, I mean, she's a lot, you know, early 20s, super liberal, but she is very like uptight when it comes to like even like claims bisexuality, man. But she's not into like exploring things with multiple partners.
It's because she loves you and she wants you to herself.
I don't know, brother. I just
nothing wrong with that.
In certain, not all the time, but in certain scenarios, the more the merrier. That's
probably just saying. A booty call. She'd be okay with it, but you guys have been messing around for well over a year now.
She's not into any kind of like plurality.
She likes you. She doesn't want to, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. There's
nothing wrong with it. You just, like I said, you kind of, you know,
you'll never get that 3-way you
super
want,
liberal.
But, you know.
Quote unquote bisexual, you kind of expect for there to be some,
JP's like, this isn't why I signed up.
Yeah, you just kind of expect to, like, I figured I'd be the uptight one, like, nah, man, that's a little crazy even for me.
You're not putting that up my butt.
Well, let's not go that far. But no, like, just, yeah, man, it's just weird that I'm the, I don't know. Like I said, I just expect it for her to be the one, like, pushing me towards new frontiers and not the other way around. So.
Right.
But whatever, man, you know. If it ain't on the menu, like the late, great Hawkshaw Hawkins used to say, it was a song, if it ain't on the menu, there's another cafe.
Oh, bam. So if you're new to this channel, hang in with us. Normally, like I said, like JP said, this was a slower episode of The Walking Dead. There have been some episodes where I don't think we've deviated much at all because it was such an exciting episode, so much to talk about. This one was good, and I like this episode. And again, sometimes you have to have these episodes kind of like a bridge to get you to your destination. You know what I mean? So I definitely thought it was a good episode, but it was a little bit slower. But that's a testament to the better writing this season, is the fact that when you do have a slow episode, I'm still into it. You know what I mean? Like, I still am sitting on my couch, stretched out, and loving every second of it. I'm glad we got to see more Michonne. I'm really wanting to see, where's Oceanside right now? Like, just because we don't see them, I don't think it necessarily means they're all dead, but there's definitely something going on there. Where's Oceanside? I've tried my damnedest. So if I'm asking obvious questions that there have been leaks or spoilers out for, keep in mind that I have tried my damnedest in the last couple of months to stay away from anything spoiler did, anything I see on comicbook.com, unless it's just a headline I can't avoid. I probably don't know. I'm trying to live in the moment and watch these episodes by episode. You know what I mean? I don't want any kind of spoilers or really even care much for people's predictions. I want this to be fresh because it feels like a fresh new experience. So I want to keep it as fresh as I can. So if somebody's like, well, obviously they've already, movie idol already revealed, well, I don't watch things like that because I'm trying to take this episode by episode now. We used to try to make predictions and stuff, but I'm enjoying it much more just by episode. You know what I mean?
I've got to ask, man, you're in Father Gabriel's position. What do? You stick with Rosita, or you, you just kind of ease on out and find warmer waters?
Depends on where you
pregnant waters.
It depends now. No,
she didn't cheat on Gabriel, right?
Right.
It's from a previous
they were having
hookup.
fun.
Yeah.
It depends on how he feels about Rosita. Now, if he thinks Rosita really loves him and he loves her, then you stay. You deal with it. I mean, people get with people all the time that have kids not of theirs, and they end up being great father figures. And Sadiq whined again this episode. You notice that, right? When he gave his little speech, like the way, the way, if you want to ever know what I'm talking about when I say that I cannot stand the way Sadiq talks, go back and watch this episode, and it's when he's talking to Michonne about whatever. His delivery is so whiny. He whines at the end of everything he says, and it just drives me up a freaking wall.
Yeah, man, I hate Sadiq. I hate Henry.
I don't really care. I really think Sadiq was a terrible person for Carl to die for.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what I mean? I would have rathered him died for like Daryl or something. At least it's, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not really feeling Sadiq, man. But anyways, if I was Father Gabriel and I thought that Rosita loved me and I loved her, I'd stay with it. That kid wouldn't be reason for me to leave. I mean, Sadiq's not a bad guy by any means. He's there. He's probably going to help raise it. I think that the biggest concern I would have is being they all live in the same community. Even if you trust her entirely, it's probably going to be some feelings of jealousy because there's going to be times where she's over at Sadiq's house.
Yeah, man. There's
Sadiq's over at your house. They've made a baby together. So I think that would be problems. But if they love each other, they could probably make it work. But either situation, man, I wouldn't blame Father Gabriel if he did say, I love you, but I just don't see this working. But I would say at least try it.
Oh, man, if I was Father Gabriel, I would be out. Like, Father Gabriel's, like, new to the butt game now. I mean...
New to the butt game.
Yeah. I mean, Jadis kind of got him back into it, and now
you're just talking about butt in general. Like I thought you meant he wasn't going to get Rosita pregnant because he was doing her butt.
Oh no,
it's where I thought you were going with that. You were like, he's new to the butt thing, and I'm like,
no, butt game.
Gotcha.
I certainly hope he's exploring all the orifices.
I was going to say, well, at least he knows he ain't got. I mean, hey, in the Walking Dead world, and I'm not trying to be too graphic here. If you're very sensitive or you have kids listening, tune out for like 2 minutes, come back. But just getting kind of gross and real here. In the Walking Dead world, your pull-out game needs to be strong if you ain't trying to have babies because, babies can be a death sentence if you wind up back on the road, wherever, right? You probably don't want to have a baby in the apocalypse. I mean, granted, for them, it's been a long time, so they might be okay. But I would imagine in the Walking Dead world, your pull-out game's got to be strong or you got to find a stash of condoms.
And I wonder...
So luckily for Gabriel, for the next... little while they get to have a little bit more fun in bed. So,
I wonder.
Wild fact, you actually can get knocked up while you're knocked up, but it's extremely rare.
God.
Very, very rare, and very, very if it happens, it's like a miracle. But it has happened before.
Yeah, and anal's probably not a good idea in that circumstance anyway. I bet a UTI could straight up kill you. They probably have limited antibiotics and stuff. Are you more at risk for UTIs when you're doing it in the butt? I think I've read that.
Don't know.
Anyway.
Don't read a lot about butt sex. I'm not going to even lie.
I study up, brother. I study up.
And that's good, though. That's good for you. You know what I mean? You know what you're getting into before you get into it. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. But let's think. What else did we have? We didn't see anything from the Kingdom.
No Ezekiel.
Because we got them last week. Let's think. We had Henry. We had Connie and Daryl have caught up, which it was cool to see them in the Whisperer costumes. I bet that was weird for them though to put those masks on. You know what I mean? Because you're wearing a dead person's face. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously the actors know that they're just masks, but I'm talking not Norman Reedus and the lady that plays Connie. I'm talking like Daryl and Connie. That was probably rough picking up someone's face and wearing it. You know what I mean? Even if it's been skinned. We got to watch Beta use his. How did you like Beta though? The portrayal of Beta.
Yeah, I think he's good, man. I think he's doing it justice for sure. Very menacing, very tall. I
was going to say, it's so funny because I think I read somewhere Ryan Hurst is maybe 6'2", which is tall. I mean, that's a tall guy. If you actually, if you go hiking or go ever buy tents, you'll see there'll be extra tall models that are for people up to 6'2". So those are tall people. But in the comics, Beta looked to be more around 7 feet tall. Negan looked like he would be about 6'2", 6'3" in the comics. But what's cool is if you watch, they've really, everybody around Beta is so much, they've cast shorter people. So Ryan Hurst looks even bigger than he actually is. So they did a great job with that. And I think Ryan Hurst is a great actor. So I'm sure he's going to be I'm excited to see where see more of Beta now that he's finally there. Because as soon as Henry swung that stick, and I was like, there his big ass is. I've been waiting for this guy about as long as I've been waiting for Negan.
Yeah, man, I wish he had just broke that stick over his knee. Don't you think that's what you would have done just to make a point? Just
or
crack.
like over his head, just to show like he's unhinged. Geez. Like if he would have caught it, grabbed it, and just went, broke it with his head.
I would have done that and just been like, all right, boy, now which end of this you want up your ass? Because that's what's about to happen. Who you think you're following people for?
This is going to hurt, but at least you ain't going to get a UTI.
Yeah, golly.
Bringing it around full circle and up the butt. That would definitely make the Whisperers more terrifying if they shoved broke sticks up people's butts for following them.
Man, what about Alpha and her decapitation?
That was sick, man. That was cool.
Wild.
What I don't get about movies and shows and things like this though, when you got someone like Alpha and these people travel with her too, so this isn't even like some outside. Why would you ever let her get behind you? I mean, even if she, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess maybe some of us are just more adept at survival and confrontation than others. Because I can tell you right now, if I was in that situation with anybody, whether I knew him or not, and she knows how Alpha is, so she's got no excuse.
I'd have been running like a mofo.
Well, I mean, even that, I would have just never let Alpha get behind me without turning around. I mean, straight up one-on-one, how bad could Alpha be? I mean, and I say that, she could have probably whooped that girl's ass. But I mean, like in the comics, there's a point where Alpha tells Beta, like, do you want to challenge me? Do you want to be Alpha? And Beta's kind of a bitch. He's scared of Alpha. And I think he knows deep down he could destroy her, but I think it's just like he's got a love for her, admiration or something. But, it's like Alpha's... I don't know, man. I just don't ever let somebody that's against you get behind you. Like what the?
Yeah, it seemed like it was a waste, just kind of feeding the corpses to the zombies. I mean, it seems like fresh skin would be kind of something you need when that's what you wear. I mean,
I don't know though. I feel like they wanted a little bit wrinkly and more. I feel like if it's fresh, they just kind of look like people wearing the faces of other people.
It seems like it would peel off easier though. I don't know.
Yeah. Not as crispy, not as stiff and fragile. I think you're thinking about it kind of like paper, not paper, like where it gets kind of old and brittle, and you go to
right.
I don't know.
Like
paper was a bad
peel
way
off
to
a little, and it would last longer,
Yeah, maybe they do tan them.
Yeah.
What do you do when you tan hide? I've done. I like doing a lot of a lot of outdoor stuff, but I've never actually like tanned leather. What do you or like? How do you stretch it out and let it dry? Is that how you turn like cowhide into leather? Like how does this work?
I don't know, man. Only hide I've tanned's been in the bedroom.
Oh damn, man! Back to it.
Yeah,
right up the butt.
Yep.
Oh, right on the butt. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's what precedes, going up. Anyway. But no, man, I don't know.
This has been the most sexual episode we've had of The Walking Dead in a while, man.
Yeah.
I think JP. I think you just is your girlfriend at your house now?
No, first off, I don't endorse that terminology.
Is your lover?
My cat's there. That's it. Nah, man, it's been.
But you love your cat.
I do love my cat, and he does watch me when I'm.
Does he just sit in the corner of the room, like up on the chest of drawers, just judging you the whole time y'all are making whoopee?
I can only imagine. Ugh. But yeah, man.
I just got so many screwed up things in my head from that. The cat's just up there like, why is this human making that noise?
I'm telling you, man, like the scariest movie for me when I was like an adolescent was Look Who's Talking Now. You had Look Who's Talking where the babies talk.
The talking babies?
And the third one was where the dogs talk. And I was just like, man, if my pets could talk, I would not want to hear what they have to say.
No, me either.
Because they've seen me masturbate 1,000,000 times. And that's why I would not want to hear them.
Just like shut the door.
Well, I mean, look, it's their house too.
I mean, it is, but, you can shut the door for like a few minutes.
I mean, sometimes you're just on the couch in the living room, man, and
and the mood hits you.
it's a really hot episode of King of Queens, and stuff just happens.
Hot episode of King of Queens. That's
Leah
awesome.
Remini, she's a spicy dish.
She is a very attractive lady. But I'm trying to think. I think we covered everything. Sorry we're so ADD this morning. It just kind of wasn't. I mean, it was a good episode. It just wasn't. I don't know. Maybe we're just ADD this morning. It is Monday. So
it is a Monday.
Tomorrow, the brand new podcast we're going to be doing here on the channel where we're going to be talking some current events. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I promise you, a lot of times The Walking Dead, we are a lot more focused on The Walking Dead. It's been one of those mornings, and it's just...
So bear with us or tune out. Do whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do, you do it.
Yep.
But I think we got to rate the episode. Put your hand under the desk, but keep it to your side this time.
All right.
Ready, set, go.
Give it a solid 3.
You gave it a 3. And keep in mind, this is out of 4. So it's not like out of 10. This is
out of 5, right?
about 5 stars. So I give it 3.5. You give it 3. Yeah, it was a good episode. Definitely.
It was, man. It wasn't a bad episode.
A little bit slower, but not bad slow. Just,
it focused on some of my least favorite characters. I mean, you had Sadiq in there, you had Henry, and I was just like, all right.
But you had Michonne change her tune.
There was a lot of high points as well.
And it looks like at the end of the episode they were packing up for the fair, which we know is ultimately. That's another thing too. We were getting ready to close out, but no, hold on. There's a few other things to discuss. Aaron supporting Michonne after, it seemed like he definitely would not have agreed with Michonne, being he was sneaking out to go see Jesus and stuff. But you think Jesus dying is probably what did it for him. Like, he's like, to hell with all that freedom stuff. You guys need to keep your ass inside before you end up like my boy Jesus.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a good time to be an isolationist. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Michonne really does represent like a nationalist kind of isolationist stance, the kingdom falls and we survive. Well, look, we survive,
Right. Kind of like a Kim Jong-un type thing. No, Kim Jong-un wants to screw with everybody. That was a terrible example. What's a nation that's like that? That's like very to themselves? Like Wakanda.
Yeah. She's
maybe her role in the Black Panther was like a past life or something. That's why she came back reincarnated with this mindset of, no, we're gonna Wakanda this shit. We're gonna keep ourselves isolated. To hell with everybody else. As long as we survive, the world can burn. Which at the end of Black Panther, obviously they did away with that stance. But that is kind of funny, though. I mean, she was in Black Panther, and Michonne this season does have kind of a Wakandan outlook on Alexandria. It's like, look, at the end of the day, man, we come first. Everybody else can burn as long as we survive.
Yeah, man. The Walking Dead, it could take place in the same multiverse as the MCU or whatever.
Man, that's her in another life, in the parallel universe.
Parallel universe. Yeah. Boom. Could be the same multiverse. It very well could be.
Mind blown.
Reed Richards needs to, bridge the two worlds.
Denai Guerrera's a badass in whatever she's in, though. So.
Oh, she definitely is.
Like, I had some friends come over and watch Black Panther this weekend, and it was like pretty much any time Michonne was on screen, I was like, all right, hold on. This is awesome. Because, she is. Like, her fighting in that movie and just her attitude is awesome. Like, I love it when, what's-his-face is... touching on T'Challa or whatever, and they're speaking back and forth, and she's basically like, if he touches you one more time, I'm gonna.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Does she speak English when she wants to?
Yeah, she was definitely one of the high points of Black Panther.
Absolutely, man. I loved her in Infinity War too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Why was she not out here this whole time? Why was she up there this whole time? Oh, she's a badass. I love her, but I'm glad we got more of Michonne. I'm terribly sad to see that she's leaving The Walking Dead.
I know, man.
Hopefully, they say, from what I've read, she is going to the Rick movies, which would be great because I think anyone that's been sticking with us since season 6 when we started this has heard you and I say on numerous occasions that aside from like the obvious Rick, Michonne's like both of our favorite characters.
Oh, yeah, man. Loved her since day one.
I loved her in the comics, and I loved her even more in the show. I mean, she's just such a...
Yeah, she's a little bit harder to love in the comics right now, but...
Yeah, she is. Right. Well, and the show, too. I mean, now, it's kind of not... It's not following the comics where they are now. The comics are a little ahead. But no, in the comic and the show, she's been a little difficult, which... By the end of this episode, after her talk with Negan and with Judith, it definitely seems like she's kind of seen the error of her ways and she's kind of getting back on track. But she's been
If it wasn't for Ezekiel in the Kingdom, I mean, back in that big battle, I mean, Negan would have, caved in Carl's head. I mean,
right.
So she needs to, she needs to refresh her memory as far as who her friends are. That's all I'm saying.
Right. But then again, also keep in mind, like I'm one of those people when it comes to things, and this is not getting deep, but it's all going to come back around. When it comes to things like abortion and suicide and all of these other and gay marriage and all of that, I always tell people, like, I don't think it's your place to judge. It's your place to decide how someone should feel. You know what I mean? Like, unless you've been in those situations, you really can't speculate on what these people should feel or do. And so, like with Michonne, though, keep in mind, we still have not seen what she's been through. So we don't know exactly, and I know that's like, wow, that's out in left field. What I'm just saying is, though, that some people are they're not right, but we have not been through what they've been through, and we don't understand why they think the way they think because we haven't experienced the things in their life that they have. So, like with her, we still don't know what happened with that X thing, man. We might get done with episode 14 and go, oh, my God.
Yeah,
if I was Michonne, I would probably cut everybody off, too. I understand now.
Seems like there's some PTSD for
Definitely,
sure.
And I'm interested to see exactly what be interesting to see her old hairstyle. Do you like her new hairstyle? Or do you like her old hairstyle?
Yeah, man, I like it. Sure.
I'm traditional. Like, I like the new hairstyle. It's definitely got more of a refined, kind of sophisticated look to it, but I kind of just miss the down to the sides Michonne with the headband.
Yeah.
But I guess that's just because, I don't know. I guess it's because she's been my favorite for so long. That's just kind of like the way I think of Michonne.
Change is hard.
It is hard. It is hard because, but I mean, like I said, I like her hair. It's definitely more sophisticated, but I just kind of like the more, like, basic kind of hair down, surviving in the woods, kick your ass, Michonne. It's crazy to go back and watch season 3, where, well, technically she shows up in season 2, but Denai Guerrera doesn't show up until season 3, because at the time they showed Michonne at the end of season 2, Michonne hadn't been cast. That was just a stand-in. But to watch remember how quiet she was, and she didn't talk at all, and she was very kind of like, just facial expressions, and she was so intuitive. And I mean, remember, she knew exactly how corrupt the governor was pretty much out the gate. Yep. To now where she's very vocal, and she's basically got that same type of attitude. She's very precautious, but she's more vocal about it. I don't know, just one of the greatest characters in any of the shows that I've watched. I love watching her growth. I don't know, now that she's leaving, I'm thinking back, and I'm like, I'm not ready for her to go. She's been my favorite for so long.
You better brace yourself, brother.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be. I hope she don't die. I hope she does go to the Rick movies. But what do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to hit that like, that comment, and that subscribe button. Hit the bell if you're listening on YouTube. If you're on SoundCloud, follow us, and we will try our best to remember to load these to SoundCloud. We also want to put these on iTunes because, and I mean, for free, obviously. But we just feel like it'd be easier for some people because then, you don't want to waste internet going down the road or have to fool with it. On iTunes, right, you'd be able to download it straight to your phone and just listen to it in your playlist.
Yeah.
So I think that would be cool. If anybody knows how we can get these onto YouTube from iTunes from SoundCloud, please let us know. We've got some of the most helpful listeners in the world.
We sure do.
I try to download Filmora. We're gonna buy some. We're gonna quit being cheap and buy some editing software.
Guess we gotta bite the bullet. Yeah.
But we're waiting because part of me is ready to get a Mac. And I know you don't have to have a Mac. You can do editing on anything. But I mean, Macs are just, I love them. I love Macs so much. What I learned to do sound and video editing on was an iMac, and I want a MacBook now. But I tried to download Filmora on Friday. It wasn't really working, so I'm sorry. The video quality still can kind of be bad if you're watching on YouTube. But we will have something more soon. But yeah, so we actually had a commenter say, I'll do your editing for you, which is so sweet. I don't know if we would make you do that just because that's awesome of you, but I don't know. I just feel like that's too much work to ask of a listener. You know what I mean?
Not to mention, what if they were like a saboteur and like spliced,
chopped up our audio?
Yeah, like made us seem like even bigger assholes than we may already be.
And I mean,
I'll speak for myself. But, what if you're like dropping N-bombs like left and right and you don't realize it till it's been up for 2 days? Next thing you know,
wait, who's dropping N-bombs?
I'm saying, what if they splice that in there?
Oh, yeah.
Like
we haven't said it, though, so they can't.
Chopped up your syllables, man.
Oh, you're talking about like chopping down to the letter.
Yeah, man. Wow. That shit can have, if you're handy enough. I mean, I'm sure you're skilled enough.
I was going to say, you've seen me take people's audio. And I actually was able to take 2 people's audio, and it was nothing at all sexual in what they were doing. And I mean, they got a laugh out of it too. It was all just in good fun. But I was able to take audio from this woman who did a commercial for us and this guy who did like a little spot and make it sound like there was totally some whoopee time going on. I put a phone filter on it so it sounded like it was coming through a phone line, like it was left on our voicemail. I'm like, look what I recorded last night.
Yeah.
People were like, what the hell? Someone was... But maybe they could. I don't know, but I don't think one of our listeners would.
I would hope not. But
our listeners are too nice.
It could be like some rival Walking Dead podcast who wants to, just destroy it.
True that. I think there is another Podcasting Dead out there, but keep in mind, go back and check. We started around 2015. Because I know for a fact that you, myself, and Matt, when he was on the podcast with us back in the day, we all searched for the Podcasting Dead to make sure that name wasn't taken. And it wasn't. It was. We were surprised it was free. We were like, such an easy, thought up name. The Walking Dead. We're doing a podcast. The Podcasting Dead.
We might be ditching that soon anyway.
Yeah,
so,
but there is another podcast out there now named The Podcasting Dead, but I'm stubborn. We started first, so they can change their name.
That's what I say.
They should change their name.
They should. They know what's good for them.
Dun, dun, dun. But almost burped into the microphone. That would have been so bad.
Careful,
I would hate to do that to our listeners. But so that's going to wrap up today's episode, I do believe. Thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with us. As always, you have no idea how much you mean to us. We'll catch you tomorrow for the first ever Current Events podcast.
I'm excited.
Going to be very fun, talking about new things. Eventually, we'll probably divide up things like JP might have dumb criminal news, I might have sports, but we're going to not bring we're going to be not going to be doing it in a news. Think more like the Daily Show.
Right.
I mean, not with the political agenda, but I'm just saying I've
got some topics.
We're going to kind of make fun of things happening
though,
today.
Man, you're talking about sports. You're going to be talking to yourself because I don't know jack about sports.
The only sports things that I'm going to talk about is if it's something that we can all like. Bryce Harper just got signed for $330 million over a 13-year stretch. You don't know who Bryce Harper is,
I don't.
But that's a lot of money.
I do.
Over that time. So we could talk about that. We'll talk about what would you do with the 330 million, blah blah blah.
I got something sports related to talk about, as a matter of fact, but we'll cover all that and more tomorrow.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I've repeated like 5 times now. It's Monday. Forgive me. I'm off my game. JP, ladies and gentlemen, JP, thank you so much for.
Thank you, everyone,
being a part of the podcast. None of you.
No.
I'm Justin, and we're going to catch you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.